I could barely spell sex at this point. And I think it's 3 letters. I'm not even sure. What
There's 3 people in our bed.
is it? Seggs? See, I can't even spell it right now.
It's Z-A-Y. Zay.
Because look,
laying in the middle.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy E.T. Look, if you're looking to or you got to raise the bar on your marriage, you gotta click the link and get into Married into Crazy, y'all. I'm telling you, this coaching is gonna take your relationship to another level. Now look, you already know you need to raise the bar. You know that already. So stop thinking or overthinking. Click that link, and Marriage into Crazy is gonna take you and your spouse to marital bliss. Now you know. Click the button. Let's go.
welcome to another episode of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks. What's up?
Hey, we want to welcome you back to the land of being crazy. And when we say crazy, it's an acronym, right? Even though we say Married into Crazy, it is an acronym. It stands for something. It stands for
Compassionate,
real,
accountable,
zealous,
and yielding.
Right? Because we believe that you can be more of each of those in order to have a successful, thriving, long-term relationship, right? That strengthens your commitment to your covenant. For those of you that don't know us, and this is your first time listening to us, we're a couple that have been married for 26 years, at least at the time of this recording. And we've gone through some stuff over the years. We're going to start to play some of the older podcasts to get people, the newer people, more familiar with the story. But long story short, I asked her to marry me after only knowing each other for 4 months. We were forced to meet by friends. It was not a blind date, as she keeps pointing out, but it was one of those things where we were tricked into meeting each other. She said I was a nerd, didn't like me, and yet 4 months later, she said yes. And then her ex-boyfriend, who was estranged and a bit crazy, broke into her home, stabbed me through my heart, had to have 2 open heart surgeries. Again, before we got married, right? So we had to recover, go through all that, counseling, all that, just to have my family or a portion of them boycott and say they weren't coming to the wedding. And it was just a mess. And but we survived that, got married, just to have her say she wanted a divorce 4 months later. Not because it was a win.
4 years, babe. You said 4 months.
Did I say 4 months?
You said 4 months.
Because it went by like that.
Okay, but say it right. Don't be in here acting crazy.
4 years later, due to a lot of things. It wasn't like I wasn't being the man I needed to be. I had a lot of growing up to do. She was just impatient.
That's what we gonna say.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, well, everyone has their own perspective.
And but we had to go through some stuff to survive that, and as a result of it, we believe that we were called, anointed to be able to share with other couples. It's not because we went out and actively sought couples out or say, "Hey, we went through some stuff. Come listen to us." No, people began to seek us out and just to talk, to have conversations. And then after having so many of those in so many different living rooms throughout our area, we decided to start a podcast, share a little bit, and we bring couples on from time to time and content experts on a variety of different subject matters and bring them on so that way they can share with the community. And so since then, we've been able to coach and counsel people internationally over in Europe, North America, including Canada, the United States, and we've been able to go around speaking, and soon we will be authors by the end of this year as well. But I say all of that to give you some perspective. And you're like, dang, he talks a lot. She don't say a whole lot. That's par for the course. As she just nods her head.
I'm just nodding. I'm agreeing. Now, I mean, if there was something that you said that was incorrect, I would say, okay, time out.
But just remember that the great majority of the people that
I know they don't see us. I forget that.
Yeah, because we're on YouTube
So
as
my
well
bad.
as all the major venues when it comes to podcasting, like
Mhm.
you're listening to right now.
So if you can't see me nodding, doing nonverbal communication, just know that I'm not hogtied and with a gag over my mouth so he could just talk.
No, that's Friday night. Okay, so look, as you can tell, there was a lot of seasons in our marriage. We all go through seasons.
So check this out though. Speaking of seasons, I'm just saying, I'm just happy to be back, on the podcast. It's been a minute. I feel like it's been a minute.
It has been, if
Or
you
I
saw
mean,
the
like
last
we
ones,
really talked, like we were here together. But
we've done a couple of individuals just because it's your schedule.
okay,
Miss, I got to get my master's. Miss Educated.
don't say that.
Look, so a lot of things are happening right now. But before I go into what's happening and what we're going to be doing and what you can
What's
expect
happening?
from the Married into Crazy crew, I'm going to ask that you go to marriedintocrazy.com
Mm-hmm.
and just look at all the different things, all the different resources that we've made available for couples, both premarital and married. That's going to add value, not because we say so, but because of the feedback that we get from people that have been in the process, that have used the different resources. There's an ebook to kind of gauge where you are in your relationship. There's also an 18-part video training series that you get to choose the price. We're not going to tell you what to pay, but go there and take a look at it. And you can look at video testimonials from other real couples across the United States that have actually done the training, hear what they have to say. You determine what kind of value you think that represents in your relationship and pay what you want. Because we don't want there to be any barriers between you and that next level in your relationship, whatever that may be. So we've made that available. And there's a variety of other things. There's a link to the podcast. Definitely go there, check it out. There's a link to the clothing line for a variety of different things. If you want people to know that you are married into crazy and you want to rep that gear, we encourage it.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely go there and do that. But that's all located at the marriedintocrazy.com website.
Yes.
Had to get that out there. And of course,
Good.
Wherever you're listening, please go give a rating and
5 stars.
5 stars and leave a comment, and share it with friends. That's what we ask. Share it with your friends that are also married, people that are pre-married, the people that are divorced, looking to get married again. Share it far and wide so we can increase and I guess expand the conversation.
Right.
But let's get back to the season that we're in.
Okay. The one where we hardly have time for each other. The one where we hardly have time to, well, I wouldn't say I don't have time to, I feel like I don't have time to do anything. There's just a lot, like Lovey said, there's a lot going on, different stressors. So, work, I have school, I have my internship, that we just gained guardianship in December of our grandson, who's 3. Lovey's volleyball, his job,
MIC, coaching.
Yeah, Married into Crazy, coaching, trying to navigate our think they grown daughters that live at home. So it's a lot, and on some days it just takes a toll on me. There have been days where I'm just like, I'm not doing nothing. And I don't say it that politely when I'm at that point,
She really doesn't. It doesn't sound anything like what she just said. Usually there's some expletives in there. You got the church lady walking through the house just cussing.
No. Talk about what?
Talk about, I ain't gonna cook this, and you blah, 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 blah. And we're like, babe. She's like, Jesus gonna forgive me.
I do not do that.
No.
I don't do that.
It's
I
not
mean,
like that.
I do. I'm not even gonna lie. I do feel like that sometimes because there are times when I come home from work. So I'm a hybrid right now, working in the office and then also at home. But the days that I go into the office and I come home, no one should ever, 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 ever ask me what's for dinner. Are you out of your mind?
She ain't talking about me.
No, I'm not. No, because that right there, I was like, what? And then ask me something else that had to do with something while I wasn't at home. I'm like, now I'm finna start cussing. Y'all about to make me cuss. Okay. Just because the expectation of, well, mom, you do everything. No, I don't. I'm
Y'all
not doing
gonna make
nothing.
me lose my mind up
Really,
here.
promise you. But so yeah, our season is and honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. The only reason that food is cooked in this house is because of the 3-year-old. Isaiah has to eat, and he's the only one
Thank you, Jesus.
that I'm gonna cook for. So they get food just by happenstance.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we have to eat whatever Isaiah's eating. So it might be some nasty food, but if she made it for Isaiah, we look at each other like, well, what you gonna do?
Hey, first of all, don't ever say my food is nasty. Some
No.
nasty food?
No, I'm just playing. I'm just
Yeah,
playing.
because that'd be the last food that you ever ate.
No, but it's very real because look, we grown folks, so let's keep it real. There, I could barely spell sex at this point, and I think it's 3 letters. I'm not even sure what
There's 3 people in our bed.
is it. Seggs. See, I can't even spell it right now.
It's ZAY. Zay.
Because look,
Laying in the middle.
any given
of
night,
the
that
bed.
fool will wake up and come walk in the room, and he has like my pillow.
Yeah,
he has his own.
Where's my pillow? So not only does he have a pillow, he brings his stuffed animals, and one bear is bigger than him. Bear. He has his own blanket that he'll bring in. So we have our routine, and he gets a couple of stories. It depends on who's reading that night. I usually read 2 or 3 stories. The rest of the household, they probably do 1 or 2, maybe. But Isaiah knows when Snooks is reading, he gets a couple of books. So when I'm like, okay, it's time for bed, he's like, okay, I want a story. And okay, you get your story. So as we walk into the room, he bypasses his room. I'm like, what? I'm sleeping in your bed. I was like, no, sleep in your own bed. I don't want to sleep in my bed. And I'm like, Zay, come on. So that might be a tug of war. We end up going to his room, and he'll fall asleep, and he'd be like, okay, I'll sleep in here.
For a minute.
I got mind control. I'll fall asleep in here. But when you go to bed, I'm coming in your room. And that is exactly what he does.
Yeah. And you're probably thinking, oh, you need to train him. There's more at stake here. Zay is there's some things that are going on because of the environment that he's been in. There's been some challenges, and we're working through that, and we're diligently working with counselors for the whole family to manage and navigate some of the challenges and the traumas and the things that he deals with. And so we're trying to be very mindful of how forceful we can be in certain areas. It doesn't make us perfect, because there's sometimes we go old school because it's just a snap right back. All of a sudden, I think I'm back in 1973 when, my family was dealing with me. But we are trying to be mindful. So we pick and choose the battles we want to fight with him, and sleeping where he's going to sleep is not one of the battles that we really want to engage in.
Well, just to be clear too, it's like, so last night he slept in his bed until what was it?
6 a.m.
6 o'clock this morning. And he comes in there. Now it happened to be one of the days I don't have to get up super early. So he comes in the room, and he was like, where's my pillow? I said, oh, you woke up? He goes, I'm getting in your bed. Where's my pillow?
He's Debo. He is Debo.
I said, your pillow's right there. So I put the pillow down, and he lays down. And first I thought he was gonna like snuggle up on you, but then he kind of leaned towards my side. But I don't play the you can lay on my pillow game. I don't like anyone on my pillow. So I always lean to I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I love you, but you need to sleep on your own pillow.
Let me tell you how real that is. Back in the day, when we used to have SCGGS before Zay, everything could be done. Wait, hold on.
So since Zay, nothing?
I won't say since Zay.
Okay, thank you. Let's just be clear.
I have a short memory.
Yeah, you do. 3 days.
So it's been longer than 3 days.
No, I say your memory is.
Oh, okay.
3 days.
That's about right. But look, so back when we used to have sex,
Stop saying that.
she might be like, okay, and then it's like, get off my pillow. When it's all said and done, she's like, why are you on my pillow?
Because I mean, I could, I'm all into
Snooks is all
snuggle,
about her pillow.
cuddle, whatever.
Yeah, cuddle
But
on your pillow. Keep your head on your pillow.
Where the pillows meet, I lay right at the end of my pillow so that right by your pillow. You know that.
She'd be right on the border. Look, she like border patrol.
I am all about my pillow. I take my pillow with me when we travel. That's only because I can't lay on the hotel pillows because they're so squishy and they hurt my neck. So
that's a whole other
podcast. I need my pillow anyway.
But so all these things are going on, and because of that, with all the changes, it's like we have to grab as much time as possible with each other, which is very minimal. And as a result of that, seriously, it's one of those things where even computer time, even finding an opportunity to get on the computer to be able to do the podcast is become extremely difficult.
Is a big challenge. Yeah.
There's more and more requirements for her. If she's not on the computer doing homework, then one of the girls is on the computer doing all the women in this house are in college, at varying degrees.
We smart.
And so the command is there. And so I have less time to do the business side of it. We've got multiple laptops and they're all being utilized. So anyway, as a result of that, we've recognized that in this particular season, we had to reevaluate what is most important to this family. Like you, and many times in your relationship, you're going to have to determine what season you're in, or that you're even just acknowledge that you're in a season and that things change. And sometimes there's no calendar that says, okay, now it's fall, now it's spring, first day of spring, which just happened, even though it was snowing and raining here in California. But there's nothing on the calendar that says, oh, the season has just changed in your marriage, in your relationship. You have to be cognizant and recognize that there's a climate change. We've talked about that, where we're used to operating between the temperatures of, 65 degrees and 72 degrees. And all of a sudden it's 90 degrees. And I need to know something's going on. And this is not the norm. Well, when we feel those shifts, we need to pivot. And we've recognized that when it comes to Married into Crazy, outside of working with the couples that we're working with, and there's a couple more that are in the phase of coming on as clients, but outside of working with the couples and putting out consistent podcasts, which we love to do because this is the free content that we get to connect with the community and share. And we've been doing it every single week since the August of 2018. We've decided, and it was a painful decision. This took weeks for us to decide. We've been going back and forth about this, but we've made a decision that rather than be every week, we're going to pull back a little bit and go to every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, we still provide the content, but we don't lose sight of what is most important in our lives. And that is our relationships and the respect for where Snooks is at in her demand for time.
So just thinking about how many times have we been in our relationships where there was a required change that we needed to do, or we weren't seeing eye to eye because someone's schedule just will not allow it. And a lot of times we've tried to push or force our own agenda to fit into what they've already said is just not feasible, is just not possible. So problems are created because we don't take a seat back or step back and look at the full picture. There are going to be times when we need to pivot in our relationship. I'm going to be honest with you. There are times, Lovey's like, are we going to, and I'm looking like, what? Are we going to what? Am I going to breathe right now? Do I have time to, I felt some kind of way because there have been times where I felt like everything else came before, not necessarily came before me, but came before what my commitment is to school. And we've had to have a couple of conversations where like, okay, before I went back to get my master's, we had a talk about what's important. If anything we started to crash or there was we weren't syncing up, we would pull back on some things. And I'd had to remind him more than one time that this is what we discussed, this is what we talked about. And I know he wasn't being malicious, like, girl, get over it and we finna do it anyway. Because in his mind, Lovey's the one that sees like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, whoa, slow down. I'm the evaluator. I guess I'll put it that way. But instead of him saying, girl, no, we got this commitment, we got blah, 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 and us fighting about it, we decided, okay, yeah, we do have to pivot. So there are some things in your relationship or some people where you're going to have to say, I can't do this. And the spouse, your partner, if you're the one that's not being respectful, you're going to have to respect that. Because do you want to be right? Or do you want to have the relationship?
Right. You want to be right, or do you want to be happy?
Well, to some people, being happy is being right. So that's why I say the relationship, because in the relationship, there is compromise. There's the yielding part of it, accountability, and all the things that we stand for, that crazy stands for. It has to be more than just being right.
And it's true, because she talks about how she didn't say it outright, but how I would throw a fit, because it's like, look, we
Like a
have
big old
business.
baby.
We're making moves business wise, because look, this is a ministry, but it's also a business, and the business has to support the ministry.
Mhm.
The business is what creates the opportunity for us to actually touch the lives.
But the business can't come before the marriage.
Absolutely. And that's something that I had to get, refocused on. And it didn't come before, but she had to remind me, like, look, we agreed to XYZ if I was going to go back to school. That's going to benefit all the couples as well. And ultimately, stop looking at the short term. We might have to just change the way we do things. A dream deferred is not a dream denied.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the activity that is being deferred for the business, at least in our case, isn't saying that we're going to deny things. And so we had to reevaluate what's most important when it comes to being married into crazy. You have to look at what's most important when it comes to being married into crazy in your home.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
What does that look like for you? Mm-hmm.
To be compassionate. The very first letter, the compassion shows up in many forms. The compassion that I was lacking was looking at schedule, looking at the amount of time that it was taking her to pivot between mom, professional at work, student, internship, coach, all these different things. These are time sucks. It will suck your soul as well. But the challenge is, E.T., my mentor, says it all the time. That look, you can go out there and, create another dollar. You can create a dollar anytime you want. There's so many different ways to do it now.
But you will never create another Snooks.
But you would never create another minute. He did not say. He didn't say you would not create another Snooks.
I was telling you that.
Oh, you're telling me. Okay, he might have meant that. I have to call you and be like, hey, she said, look.
I was saying that to you. I forgot that.
Okay.
You were quoting ET. My bad.
No, but he says, you can go out and create another dollar, but you can't create another minute. So be mindful of what it is that's most important. That thing that you have the least amount of, the thing that God blesses you with that is truly finite. And I had to recognize that her time, I didn't want to spend my time arguing, nor should you want to spend your time bickering over things that can change. Things can be deferred to the future. Now, I know that we're not guaranteed the next minute. So let's make sure that the moments we are spending together actually stand for something that actually has true meaning. And we're not getting fidgety because, I got to go grab something to eat because she came home from work and can't do X, Y, Z. I know y'all are like, well, why can't you cook? I'm like, look, y'all, I'm here working too. Just because I may not leave the house as often doesn't mean that I'm not engaged. And
Lovey is very engaged. I will say that he is very engaged. So
yeah,
and we need that. So
yeah, so
let him know, Lovey. Let him know.
I work too. Dang it. No, but look, this whole purpose of this conversation is to let you know that things are changing, and the reason why they're changing is because we had to pivot. Mm-hmm. We're going to challenge you to actually take a moment to really evaluate your relationship, where you are with your spouse right now. And look at the climate, look at the environment. Does it require a pivot? Does it require compassion for the other individual and what they're going through? Doesn't mean if it holds value for you or is relevant to your career progression or relevant to your specific needs right now. What about the needs of your relationship? Mm-hmm. Right? Think about the needs of your marriage, the needs of your covenant. And does that require you to put some things on pause? or to actually accelerate some things. It can go in either direction, but it's about the needs of the covenant.
And like you said, it's seasonal. It's not like, okay, this is it. This is how it's going to be. No, for such a time as this, we will need to be doing the podcast every other week. And we will need to, and don't say we will need to, but we will be revisiting some of our older topics. So that when we do come back together, we are quite refreshed, and that we're talking about stuff you want to hear, not just sitting up here just running our mouths just to running our mouths.
Exactly. So do us a favor. I mean, what you can do to actually assist us in this process is continue to email us. We love your emails. We haven't been asking for them enough, so we haven't been generating all those. But when you send an email with a question, with a challenge, with something that you're going through, that helps us do more research to look at different things, because we have a variety of different resources at our disposal between the Gottman Institute, which we're both level 1, level 2 Gottman Couples Therapy certified, and the variety of things that we do. I have a group of a large group now, a family of extreme execution coaches that I work with as well, that I belong to this family, this community, where we can bounce things off of, where we can actually get answers for you. So we definitely want to do that. So email us, reach out to us. This is also going to give me time to continue the project. We have a book that's going to be coming out. And I will reveal more about that at a later date. But when that happens, it's a process. It takes time. So because we're going to be pulling back on the podcast just a little bit, going to every other week, we're now able to look at some other areas where we can add value to more marriages across the world.
That's right.
And we ask for your support as we do this as well. We're always here for you. And if you want to get involved in our free online Facebook community, go look for Iron Tribe, the Facebook or the marriage. It's called Iron Tribe, the marriage community. You go there. We have other couples that engage from all over about different topics. There's videos, there's conversations, there's different things that we do there as well. So please participate there, and it's absolutely free. There's a lot of free that we offer because we believe in you and your marriage. And we don't want there to be obstacles between you and what God has in store for you.
That's right.
So I think that's all we're going to really talk about at this time. Keep an eye out and definitely share. And when the season changes again and we're able to pivot back, if we ever do, going back to every week, we'll definitely make you aware of that as well.
It'd be after I graduate, so I can get on here and pontificate.
Oh, Lord.
I'm just kidding.
Be ready, y'all. Hey, look, no, but we appreciate you. We love each and every one of you. And please keep the questions and things. Engage with us on YouTube. Engage with us on the different venues that the podcast are showing up by leaving reviews, but also email us. And I'll have all of that in the show notes.
Yep.
So, quick shout out. We're going to be speaking and presenting at the CMCR Marriage Conference. And that's going to be April 21st through the 22nd or 23rd?
23rd, I think.
Through the 21st, April 21st, 22nd, or 23rd, sorry. Let me say that again. April 21st to the 23rd up in Lake Tahoe, up in Zephyr Cove. I believe there's just a few more spots. I checked in and it's almost sold out. I think there's like 3 or 4 spots still available. So I'll have a link to that also in the show notes. So if you're in the area or if you're not in the area and you're looking for a nice little getaway, Lake Tahoe is a beautiful place this time of year. So please come on out, join us at the CMCR Marriage Conference, and we look to see you there. And if not, you'll definitely hear from us here on the podcast.
Yep.
So until the next time,
be blessed.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.